Hello and welcome. You're watching India Upfront. I'm Padmaja Joshi. 13 days into Israel's war against the Hamas, there's a slow admission across the globe that what happened on the 7th of October is not only about a historical land dispute, the problem is much bigger. Remember, for the last 13 days, Israel has insisted that the October 7 attack was born not just out of a desire for Palestinian autonomy, but has its roots in the Hamas's charter. A charter that stands for the annihilation of the Jewish race in Israel and beyond. And now that sentiment has been confirmed by none other than the head of the political office of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, who in a call to arms of sorts asked the entire Islamic and Arab Ummah to take to the streets not just against Israel, but against all adversaries. Now, most would be inclined to brush off Haniyeh's exhortations as the ramblings of a radical, except that these very exhortations have been echoed by countries like Iran and Pakistan.
أدعو شعوب الأمة العربية والإسلامية جمعاء إلى الخروج الآن تنديدا بهذه المجزرة، بهذه الوحشية، بهذه الجرائم. اخرجوا في كل العواصم، في كل المدن، ارفعوا الصوت عاليا ليتوقف هذا العدو ولتقف هذه الأمة.
We call for an immediate ceasefire, an end to the siege of Gaza, and the facilitation of humanitarian corridors for unrestricted relief supplies. The joint communique adopted after yesterday's meeting reflects the unified stance of the Muslim Ummah on the Gaza situation. Pakistan has been actively engaged in consultation with OIC member states as part of our contribution in developing this consensus.
Now remember, the effect is telling on the ground as well. At present, the world seems to be divided into two, with the Islamic world all opposing Israel as a united bloc and the rest supporting Israel's right to existence and self-defense. In fact, all the Islamic countries in the last 24 hours have witnessed violent protests, with stones being pelted at security forces in Jordan after protests outside the Israeli embassy turned violent. In Lebanon as well, the police were forced to fire tear gas shells at protesters after a threat to the American embassy. Now, the threat, unfortunately, isn't limited to these violent protests alone. These protests, remember, can for a moment be perceived as an outpouring of anger. But in the last 13 days, especially on the day that Hamas called for a global day of jihad, a 50-year-old embassy official was knifed in China. In Arras, France, a teacher was attacked by a man wielding a knife. In Brussels, a man opened fire at people who were on their way to watch a football match. 2 Swedish citizens were killed. No wonder then that with this kind of violent acts being reported from across the world, leaders in countries like France and UK are also now forced to acknowledge that the problem may not just be limited to Israel or even Palestine or their historical dispute, but is perhaps far wider and deeper.
La sécurité d'Israël, la lutte contre tous les groupes terroristes, mais aussi le processus de paix et la solution politique sont un tout inséparable. Et c'est cet agenda qu'il faut retrouver. Et je pense que ce moment extrêmement dur pour le peuple israélien, aujourd'hui pour les civils palestiniens, tous les États européens sont vulnérables. Et il y a un retour en effet de ce terrorisme islamiste. Et nous avons tous une vulnérabilité, c'est celle qui va avec des démocraties, des États de droit, où vous avez des individus qui à un moment peuvent décider de commettre le pire.
Every week, my office is besieged by asylum seekers. My staff are intimidated by young men. The fact is, most of them are illegal migrants who should be expelled. Enough is enough. I want these people out of Hartlepool now.
All right, let's take this across to the guest joining us now, Asher Fredman, Senior Fellow at the Misgab Institute for National Security and Director for Israel at the Abraham Accords Peace Institute, Zafar Sarishwala, former Chancellor of the Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Farshid Bagherian, who is an international relations analyst at the Tehran Azad University, and Issa Amro, who is a Palestinian activist. I want to start with you, Asher Fredman. What do you make of this call which is now being given by various countries, from Iran to Pakistan to the Hamas, saying the Muslim Ummah must unite?
On the one hand, we've seen an incredible outpouring of support for Israel following Hamas's unprecedented massacre on October 7th. But we've seen again and again, we saw this in 2014, and again, that conflicts between Israel and Palestinian terrorist organizations lead to terror attacks, lead to a spike in anti-Semitic attacks. We've seen attacks in the UK quadruple. We've seen attacks, Jewish children who can't go to school, Jews who can't go to synagogue, cars coming outside of synagogues in the UK screaming, kill the Jews. So we do see that these calls from radical Islamic terrorists in Gaza do have an effect both in the Arab and Muslim world and in the West. Although I have to say also, I've gotten many messages from friends in the countries of the Abraham Accords and other Arab and Muslim countries expressing support and sympathy for Israel as well.
Do you think it's an effort to try and turn it into an issue of an entire community versus Israel, versus Jews, and what the Hamas says is all adversaries across the globe?
Unfortunately, we know that there are supporters of Hamas, of the Muslim Brotherhood's extremist ideology around the world, not only in Gaza or in the West Bank. And there are those who will answer this call and rise up and, as we've seen, commit terror attacks, murder innocents, just like Hamas is doing in Gaza and in Israel. I don't think it's going to be a worldwide conflict. I think what's becoming clear to many people around the world, including many world leaders, is that it's time to pick a side. Are you on the side of the bloodthirsty terrorists who committed the worst massacre against Jews since the Holocaust? Or are you on the side of civilization, of democracies that want to pursue the path of peace and understanding, as, for example, we saw with the Abraham Accords?
Issa Amro, why make it into a, Muslim Brotherhood versus others issue? This is essentially, if it's about a fight for rights, why is, there a call to a community or religion?
First, I want to correct some mistakes and some misleading sentences came in your reports. It's not called Judea and Samaria. It's the right-wing extremists, they call it Judea and Samaria. It's occupied Palestine by the UN, by the US, by the UK. Everybody calls it occupied Palestine according to the international law. Then there is nobody in Palestine calling to kill the Jews. Who says that? In the contrary. Nobody is calling in Palestine. Show me someone, any interview of any Muslim in Palestine saying that we should kill the Jews. In the contrary, what I see from Israeli leaders that they are talking about killing Palestinians. Something else very important, Israel is not defending itself. It's
I
not
just want to gently point out to you that there are 203 hostages who I'm pretty certain right now are not being kept in a five-star facility in Gaza. Just gently pointing that out.
I want to clarify because you are talking about a lot of things in the report, and you gave your
yes, I mean, you said there is nobody in Palestine who is talking about killing Jews. 1,300 Jews are dead. 1,300 Israelis are dead. Surely they didn't just drop by themselves. Somebody in Gaza decided to kill them. But anyhow, go on.
Please, I want to clarify to the audience what's going on the ground and what Palestinians feel. We are completely against killing any kind of civilians. Israel is not defending itself. Israel is defending its occupation and apartheid. Israel was described by Human Rights Watch, Amnesty, many Israeli human rights organizations as an apartheid state. It's not democracy. Me in Hebron, I live in this house here. I am locked in my house. I receive almost every day live threats from the Israeli settlers who are around me and the Israeli soldiers. It's a curfew in the West Bank. It's a lockdown. Israeli settlers and soldiers are really making our life horrible. Something else. What everybody is saying.
I actually had a very different question that I asked you. You know, the dispute between Israel and Palestine is a different thing. What I'm asking today is, why is the Hamas going out there and saying, you know, this is an issue about the Muslim Brotherhood and every Islamic country should back us? Or Pakistan saying the same, or Israel or Iran echoing the same sentiment. Why is there a call to a community? That's my question to you.
No, there is a call from us on the ground on the Palestinians. We are calling the Arab countries, the Muslim countries, the Christian countries, the Jewish people all over the world. I know, to be very honest, yesterday in the United States, thousands of Jews were protesting in the Capitol Hill against the war. It's not about a certain people to really fight the Jews. It's in the contrary. We have many Jewish people all over the world. They support the Palestinian rights. They are against the war. They are with the Palestinian freedom and justice and equality, to end the Israeli apartheid, to end the Israeli occupation. And about the hate, anti-Semitism is very bad. We don't want anybody in the world to use our cause to show their anti-Semite views or Islamophobia or racism. We love the Jews. We are not against the Jews. Jews are our brothers and sisters. We want to live in peace together with full equal rights for everybody. About hate, a Palestinian American child was killed in the United States, and many other Palestinians, many other Muslims were attacked. So we should stop the war, cease fire, make real peace, make the international law implemented. We are asking as Palestinians.
Okay, so you're saying this is not limited to a call to any ummah. It is about anyone who cares for the rights of Palestinians. What do you make of this from Jordan to Lebanon to Iran, the kind of reactions that you're seeing to the streets and the exhortation being made to the Muslims, Zafar Sareshwala, that this is almost a religious cause for them?
No, I saw many Jews in there.
Mr. Sareshwala.
I saw many people.
No, Padmaja.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. See, Padmaja, I have been to Israel. I had a very detailed visit to Israel as well as to Palestine. I was hosted by Jewish families as well as the Palestinian families. I lectured at Ben Elan University in Tel Aviv and Beit University in Palestine. So I know exactly what it is. But coming to your question, it is not at all about Ummah. You know, more than 150 cities had demonstration for Palestinian rights. See, Hamas, if Hamas would have been Palestine, then there is no presence of Palestine in West Bank. In West Bank, there is Palestinian population of about 3.7 million. And there is no Hamas at all there. Even in Gaza, Hamas has won the election only in 2007. After that, there has been no election. Even in that election, Hamas got about 51-52% votes and they won. They got more seats. So this is not at all about Ummah or not about anti-Jewish at all. If that would have been, there have been instances of demonstration against the injustice of Palestinians by the Jewish groups. By Jewish groups in New York, in Washington, D.C., in Virginia, in Florida. Even there were demonstrations against the attitude of the government, the present government of Israel in Tel Aviv. Now, recently, when the war is going on, so it is not at all about Jewish people or about the Palestinian people. I am totally against being anti-Semite and about anti-Islam. It is about the rights. I think we should limit this about occupation, about settlement, and about honor and dignity of an ordinary Palestinian, and also about the lives of ordinary Jewish Israelis. So I think the best way forward is there should be a ceasefire, and as the Arab countries and the world was talking, which was started by the US, that there should be two-state formula, one state of Israel, one state of Palestine, and with honor and dignity, and there they live happily ever after. I mean, what, 2 or 3, 4 countries have been talking, I think that is not the issue. The issue is only about the injustice and the occupation of the Palestinian lands, and also about the sufferings of 1,300 Jews which you were mentioning. In fact, I myself called at least 7 to 8 families in Israel, and I gave my condolences to them. So it is not at all about that, it is about human lives. This side or that side. That is the whole issue.
Kamal Chima, everyone says that this is about human rights. Pakistan, on the other hand, wants to jump in and try, जिसको हिंदी में कहते हैं कि अपनी रोटियां सेकने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, making this about, their own whole ideal of painting things in religious colors. Why?
Well, I think at the moment, the most important thing which is to be understood is either it is Pakistan, either it is the United States or any other country in the world. What is important to be seen is that those people who are killing the unarmed civilians and innocent civilians, they should be punished and they should be asked to stop. The Hamas, first of all, absolutely did wrong by targeting the innocent Israelis who were unarmed. At the same time, the Israeli forces killing Palestinians who are unarmed and innocent. So I think that is the first fundamental question from where we need to start. Moving on, what you are saying that, we are giving it a religious color. The way Indian media is giving it a religious cover. You are targeting Muslims across the world. First you were targeting Muslims in India, and now you found a peace. Okay, let's join Israelis and let's join the Western world to target the Muslims because that gives a more suitable answer to many, or that gives soothing answers to many in India. The point here is not about religion. It's the point of fundamental rights and human rights. What the Israeli forces are doing, they are actually violating international law, humanitarian law. I have not heard a single word from your mouth talking about that 500 Palestinians, I'm not saying Muslims, 500 Palestinians were killed with one single strike, and you are trying to target the Muslims here on your show. What a pathetic position I think the Indian media has adopted, that targeting Muslims on the name of this Jew-Muslim. This is not a Jew-Muslim. This is a Palestine-Israel issue. Let's call spade a spade. Let's not kill human beings. If Hamas is doing, that is pathetic. If Israeli forces are doing, that is more pathetic because they are a full-fledged country and they are just trying to take a revenge. Okay, 13,000 Israelis died. That doesn't mean you killed 10,000 innocent Palestinians. That is not a just war. There is no justification for killing of the humanity.
Okay,
and I
first
think
of all, I do not think that is the case at all, sir. Nobody has said that the killing of or the death of anyone, whether it is Palestinian, whether it is Israeli, is justifiable or it is condoned by anyone. But what do you make of this logic, Asher Fredman, that this is not about going after Jews or about anti-Semitism?
Let me quote to you Article 7 of Hamas's founding charter. The day of judgment will not come about until Muslims fight Jews and kill them. Then the Jews will hide behind rocks and trees, and the rocks and trees will cry out, "O Muslim, there is a Jew hiding behind me. Come and kill him." Now, I don't believe that this is the view of all Muslims or even of all Palestinians. This is the view of Hamas. Hamas killed 1,300 Israelis on October 7th because they were acting out on this charter. And now Hamas is calling out to the Muslim Ummah, repeat this wherever you are. Now, again, I think most Muslims, many Muslims, reject this. But sadly, there are Muslims in the East, in the West, in Muslim countries, in non-Muslim countries that support this ideology, that accept this statement as something that they should do as a religious duty. And we're seeing the results in terms of the brutal murder of these babies and children, the cutting open of a pregnant woman's belly and pulling out her child and stabbing it. This is not a story. I saw the video with my own eyes. My soul is scarred forever from seeing that. This is something that Hamas did on October 7th and that many of its followers around the world celebrated.
Respond to that, Mr. Bagarian.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I want to say that the narration of dividing the world in non-Muslim and Muslim is not acceptable for us, because there is only one definition for human.
Human is unique all around the world, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, whatsoever. And we believe that the human is the deputy of God on earth. So this narration is not acceptable. If you divide the world in these two parts, it means that you are recalling the world to a new war, to a new scene. The scene of war right now in Gaza is dark, is in darkness. Believe me, is foggy. Nobody knows what is happening over there. One hospital attacked in the night, and nobody knows what's happened. But definitely, what is obvious? Hamas or Israel, who whatsoever attacked, but the bomb was American made. This is the play. Is running. This is the play. The bomb was American. Yeah, the gentleman is very laugh to laugh. No problem. It was MK-84, and this is American made, not Iran made, not Hamas made, and not the other one. So it's better to say that.
Asher Fredman, would you like to quickly respond to that? Quick rebuttal.
There's video, there's forensic reports, there's on-the-ground footage. On the one hand, we have Hamas's claims. On the other hand, we have the President of the United States, the Congress, the UAE government. They've all said this was a rocket from the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. They've all said that. All the evidence points at that.
This guy is talking about the peace. This guy that interrupt me.
I'm talking about facts.
I'm not done. Please.
Okay, finish.
You cannot talk about the dialogue. No, I'm finished. It's enough for me. Because if you not allowed anybody to talk, you will never can sit down on a table for peace. It means that you don't know what is peace. I'm talking about the play is running over there. The United States is making a big play with China over there. And all the people over there are innocent. And we are under a play. Even the Jewish people over there. Thanks, I'm done.
Just as a follow-up, Mr. Bagarian, if you're saying that what happened in...
No, I'm finished. I'm interrupted. Sorry. I hear politely, with all due respect, but this guy interrupted me. Thank you.
No, he was making a quick point to what your initial allegation was. Please go on. Finish your point.
Anyway, any demonstration all around the world in peaceful arena is acceptable. Not for Hamas, not for Jewish, or whatsoever. The Hamas is not leading the Muslim world. Hamas is recalling for a demonstration. If this is a demonstration would be peaceful and will apply with the local rules, it's possible. Why you are against this demonstration? 300 people arrested in the United States and 2 rabbis among them, 2 Jewish rabbis among them. Why? Because they violated the rules. But the mentality is okay, because they are trying to seize the fire, to stop the fire, to stop the casualties, human casualties. What we are seeking right now is, please stop the war. Mr. Netanyahu told sharply, we are on war. Please stop the war. Thank you.
So the ones who have been, the protesters who have been stopped, who have been arrested, are those who were engaging in violence against either the American embassy or the Israel embassy. There were efforts to try and attack those institutions, and surely that cannot be a recipe for peace either.
No, I told that 300 people arrested in the Congress because they entered and violated the rules. But their mentality is okay. Because they wanted to, there is something wrote on their T-shirt that ceasefire. We want ceasefire. This is innocent people, and they want ceasefire. But the way that entered the Congress was a violation, and not applied to the rules. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Safar Sarishwala, you wanted to respond.
See, Padmaja, Hamas's view is Hamas's view. It is not at all by any standard view of 2 billion Muslims. In fact, if that would have been view, then recently in last couple of years, almost 8 Islamic countries, they developed diplomatic relationship with Israel. They have embassies there. Israeli businessmen are coming and going. In fact, there are 11 flights every single day from Turkey to Tel Aviv. So it is their view. What the Islamic world or the Muslims across the world want. They are not even saying that we want to cut off from 1948. We will have relationship, full diplomatic, full relationship with Israel. You come here, you invest. You also take care of the occupation which you have done and go back and give honor and dignity of cut-off of 1967. Let there be a Palestinian state and the Israeli state. And that part, in fact, the Islamic countries, they put their word, they opened embassies and everything. But Israel did not respond to the limiting of occupation and also the settlement. So this is only that. In fact, lot of Jewish people are also talking about that. Even people in Israel, they are also saying that yes, injustice has been done. In fact, Padmaja, I'll tell you my own experience. I traveled, and Padmaja, you tell me from your office to your home. Every single day if you go and you're stopped at 10 different locations, you're asked to come out of the car, you are checked, and you are given this kind of treatment. What would go into your minds? So what I am saying is, and what large section of Muslims are saying, give honor and dignity to the Palestinian people, end occupation, go back, remove the settlements, and have two nations. That's all we want. We have no enmity towards Jewish people at all.
Okay, I'm going to end it at that. You know, it is indeed worrying that you've got leaders from across the world now forced to introspect about whether this call could also have a reaction in their country, whether it is a systemic problem which has been brewing for a while. We certainly hope not. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining me.